So are expensive tires worth it? Well, it's a bit more complicated than a simple yes or a no. There are so many different variables that go into manufacturing a tire and scenarios to consider in order to make an actual educated decision on buying tires. First, let's talk about what goes into manufacturing a tire and where costs are cut in order to offer a more cost-effective tire to the market. Now, if you thought manufacturing a tire was all about taking some rubber, pouring it into a mold with a pattern, and then letting it dry before packing it up and sending it off for sale, you'd be mistaken. It's an extremely complex billion-dollar industry. Your name brand companies employ chemists to formulate the right compounds or even multi-compound combinations. They even have engineers that test and design tread patterns based around performance, wet grip, dry grip, braking, and multi-weather functionality. They also need to formulate ways to keep the tire together under large heat, large load, and very stressful conditions. These companies even build multi-million-dollar research facilities with test tracks that can replicate all kinds of driving conditions, from summer track driving all the way down to winter tundra exploration conditions. And more often than not, they use highly qualified test drivers to ensure that the products behave as they're supposed to. And if they don't, the whole process starts over. When you buy a more expensive name brand tire, you're buying into the technology and the safety of a tire that's developed with millions of dollars backing its development and testing. So when you start getting into a more cost-effective tire, you're more than likely getting into something that cuts costs by spending less time on development, less money on quality materials, and they spend less time testing and perfecting their product. This isn't necessarily to say that buying a cheap tire is bad, or that you're gonna have catastrophic failure and frickin' die because you didn't buy the latest and greatest, but more so that it's not a good long-term play. Using a tire with lesser materials and less development is going to result in less performance, equating to less safety when it comes to an emergency situation. You're also going to be looking at less forgiveness in changing weather or seasons, and arguably the biggest one is going to be lifespan. The biggest misconception I hear when it comes to people choosing cost-effective tires over more expensive tires is that they think they're getting a better value. But in reality, it's quite the opposite. When you consider and compare how many miles a tire is estimated to last, 95% of the time, you're gonna find that a better quality will vastly outlast a tire of lesser quality. So much so that when you boil it down and do the math, the premium tire will inevitably cost you less per mile overall than an entry-level tire. And with that being the case, that also means that the better performance in braking and ability to maneuver in an emergency situation is essentially a free upgrade. But I do know that everybody's situation and vehicle use is different, and that's where the biggest differentiating factor is going to come in. If you're just looking for a tire that grips well so you can beat the ever-living hell out of it on a couple track days a year, followed by consistent burnouts because you have zero concerns about longevity, a Federal 595 SS is going to be a great choice for you. But if you put on a lot of miles and performance and longevity are both important to you, you cannot go wrong with anything in the Michelin Pilot Series tires. So are expensive tires worth it? Unquestionably, yes. But this doesn't mean that you have to go out and buy the most expensive, newest thing, but that you should be buying the best tire that you can afford for your vehicle that meets your needs. You will not be disappointed. But that about wraps it up for this one. What do you guys use for tires? Do you pay for quality or do you go a more cost-effective route, and why? Let me know in the comments. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already and tell your friends about us. This channel has a ton of technical content that you will not find on the Fitment Industries main channel. And of course, don't forget to head over to fitmentindustries.com for all of your wheels, tires, and suspension. While you're there, don't forget to add your car to the gallery. I'm Sean from Fitment Industries, SeanB.fi on Instagram. Thank you for watching. Peace.